Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea and today I thought I would do a tag. I've never really done a tag before and I haven't been tagged in this one, but I just really want to do it, so I will. So this is a classics tag and I will find out who started this one, but I will link all the things below and all the questions. So I'll just get right into it. So an overhyped classic you really didn't like. I don't really get along well with Faulkner. There's something about his writing that's just very off-putting to me, and I can never really get into his works, like, at all. Also, there are a few others, but maybe I'll just make a whole video on the classics I just don't like and why, because there's a lot. But if I had to pick like one writer that I just don't get along with, it's Faulkner. Number 2, favorite time period to read about. Now, I love the 19th century, Russian, British, of course, the Victorian period, and American as well. It's actually fascinating throughout. However, all of England's or Britain's history I find absolutely fascinating, like the Anglo-Saxon period, medieval period, the Elizabethan era, and just everything. Like, I can't think of a time in England that I'm not like, I want to read that. So I'm very interested in English history in particular. Favorite fairy tale? So from the Grimms it would have to be Rapunzel and Rumpelstiltskin, but my ultimate fairy tale writer is Hans Christian Andersen. I love absolutely every fairy tale he wrote, and I really like his darker adult ones, like the Red Shoes and just The Shadow. Oh, so good. The Ugly Duckling. He's just a wonderful writer in general. And there's 2 fairy tales that I really love by Oscar Wilde, The Rose and the Nightingale and The Happy Prince. There's a lot of fairy tales I love. I'm sorry that I listed too many, but I have to. What is a classic you're most embarrassed about having not read? Probably The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I feel like I should have read this by now, and I didn't get to it. Sorry. Now, top 5 classics you would like to read soon. Made a list. The first one I'd like to get to really soon is Maurice by Forster. I heard about this at Claudia from Spinster's Library's channel, and it sounds like something I'd really enjoy. The second book I want to get to badly is Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence. I haven't read any D.H. Lawrence, so I think it's time that I do that. The third one is The Sorrows of Young Werther by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I don't know if I said any of those things correctly. I'm sorry, but I want to read this very badly. I also want to read Elizabeth Gaskell's Sylvia's Lovers. This looks awesome, and Kate Howe really recommended it, so I have to read it. And The Waves by Virginia Woolf. It's been on my TBR for a really long time. I really love Virginia Woolf, and I've been saving it for a good time. So those are kind of my 5. And obviously The Color Purple, because I'm embarrassed for having not read it. Favorite modern book or series based on a classic? So The Mere Wife, which is a Beowulf retelling. And I made a whole video on this, so I will link it down below. But it's, long story short, a retelling of Beowulf told from Grendel's mother's point of view, but it's set in the United States in the suburbs. And the second one is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, which is a retelling of Kipling's The Jungle Book, but instead of being raised by animals, he's raised by ghosts. What's your favorite movie version or TV series based on a classic? So this would have to be Wuthering Heights with Tom Hardy and his wife Charlotte Riley. The 2 of them rock those roles so much, and if you haven't seen that version of Wuthering Heights, you're missing out on the best adaptation ever. If you've watched the one with like Voldemort, just don't. Like, it's fine. Yeah. Tom Hardy as Heathcliff. Born in the darkness, molded by it. What's the worst classic to movie adaptation? This would have to be Anna Karenina with Keira Knightley, the newer one. I know this was bad because I walked in there with someone and I hyped this up so much, and when we walked out, I felt the need to apologize for how bad this movie was. I literally had to fill in all the gaps and just apologize and apologize for having wasted their time. And I felt like it was my fault somehow. Like, I just... Number 9. Favorite editions you'd like to collect more classics from. The first is the Canterbury Classics. So it's these kind of leathery ones. So this is Lady Chatterley's Lover. But they're kind of leathery. And they're this weird hybrid of a paperback and a hardback. And you kind of have both in one. And it's leathery, so it's like if it gets wet, it's very easy to clean up. And it's kind of flexible, so I like that. And then they have the most beautiful end pages. I mean, this one's very like pink and flowery. It looks like something my grandma would like. But the other ones are a lot spookier and diverse, so you'll probably see these a lot in the United States. But I really like these editions. And the second ones are these collector's classics, or the collector's library. And they're very small, like so small. I don't know if you can see it, like I have very tiny hands, so this is like... and they're kind of gilded pages, and the writing is actually quite large. So usually when books are small, I avoid them because I can't read them. But these are actually legible, and I was thinking if my entire library would be in this edition, it would be so much easier to move apartments and houses whenever I move. I think moving is probably the hardest part of being a reader, but having all my books in this edition would be so convenient. So that's why I choose this one. And then the last question is an underhyped classic that you'd recommend to everyone. So I recently read this, well, not recent, this is my favorite book last year that I read, and it's The Collector by John Fowles. And it's kind of a modern classic that's sort of a retelling or in conversation with Nabokov's Lolita. And he did it differently, but I really liked this take, and it was such a creepy atmosphere, and it was so well done, and it's a great modern classic, so I'd highly recommend this. I loved it, and like Lolita, the first half is better than the second half. So that was it. That was my For the Love of Classics, or the Classics tag. I'm not sure which one I did because there are too many circulating, so I'll just link it all below like I mentioned before. And you're supposed to tag people, but instead of tagging people, like, just do it if you want to and just say, you know, Andrea tagged me, totally. And I'll be like, yep, I did. Definitely. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!